Hi, I'm Brian Brodeur, and welcome to the debut episode of TAPintoTV on News 12+. As the flagship video channel within the Tap Into online news network, TAPintoTV features original programming highlighting local human interest stories from across the tri-state area. We'll begin with two segments from TAPintoTV's first original series, HomeGrown. Host Stephanie Willoughby takes you to a gift shop in Hoboken and visits a well-known donut shop in Asbury Park.
My name is Stephanie Willoughby, and I'm a family photographer here in the great state of New Jersey. Jersey is full of small towns with big personalities, which is why I want to explore what makes your community special. I'm interested in the stories that your community would tell if it had a voice. This is HomeGrown. You know that feeling when you need a gift or a chandelier or just to go someplace that's totally inspiring? That is the Washington General Store. Let's go on inside and explore what makes this a favorite in Hoboken.
I'm Megan Lucan. I'm a Hoboken resident, Hoboken mom, and a Hoboken store owner.
So we're in Washington General Store. I love your store. I love everything in it. It's really tempting to just touch everything. Do you have people in here constantly just touching the items?
Yeah, but I think, that's the really important part of still shopping local is that you can't get that online. So, you're finding the product, you're picking up, you're smelling it. It makes it really tangible.
It's one of the things I love the most about shopping small and supporting small businesses is that we also see you here, right? And we get to know you, and then I think there's like this emotional connection between, I'm sure, yourself and then customers that come in. Can you tell us a little bit about the people that are shopping here at Washington General?
Yeah, they're the Hoboken resident. We run the gamut from really the student who just graduated, the student that goes to Stevens, maybe their parents are visiting. We've got young families that are moving into town. Maybe they needed a little more space from Manhattan. And then we've had people that have been here their entire lives. So we have a really great mix of people in this community.
I feel like it's kind of nice to give somebody a gift certificate to some place like this too, so that they can kind of choose, because all the items in here seem so personal, which is a credit to you. I think I'm sure that attributes to, your success that you guys have had here.
Yeah, we really try and curate the products. We buy from over 200 vendors, so that you're not just walking into a store that seems like a mall store that you can kind of find anywhere. We really try and make the assortment something that seems special. So every item you pick up has sort of a story behind it, or you kind of can pick something up and know exactly wwho that's intended for. So
yeah, that's how, exactly as you're describing it, is exactly how it feels in here.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it does. It feels like, it feels like a hug. It really does, because it's just all of these things in a certain, period in your life, especially in the kind of adulting era of your life, where it becomes a priority to give a gift to someone, or a housewarming gift, or a new baby, or whatever the heck it is. And it seems like you guys have it all here. So it's really beautiful. I really enjoy it. I want to talk to you a little bit about, since you've been here for the past 5 years, we've been talking a lot about how Hoboken has been in this renaissance, right? So moving out maybe a little bit less of just the bar culture, and your store, I think, attributes to kind of welcoming in that family vibe and modern female vibe. Can you talk to us a little bit about the changes or transformation you've seen in Hoboken?
Yeah, well, actually, I started seeing that when I moved here 8 years ago, and that was kind of where the whole idea came from. Was I had that need. I was looking for, I was no longer going out to the bars. I was going to housewarmings, or, my niece was born and I needed a great gift to give her. So it really kind of followed my own metamorphosis into adulthood as well.
How has it been for you as not just a business owner, but also a resident? How would you describe Hoboken to someone who hasn't visited here?
It's a very unique community, very much rich in history. Our waterfront is unrivaled for sure. But, it's so interesting. We have a really old history of people who have lived here for their entire lives and are been generations of family members who have lived here. So you'll see old shops that have been here forever. And then you have the complete other side of it where it's new families moving in. So it's kind of this combination that is really nicely married together in what feels like a small town, but is actually a very urban lifestyle. And that's, for me, what's so important about living here is that, you know, you live the urban lifestyle. I barely ever get in my car. I can walk to everything I need, but at the same time, I pass familiar faces all day long, so.
So, Megan, one of the challenges is that there are a lot of big box stores that come with gentrification and the renaissance of Hoboken. How have you guys been able to navigate that?
Yeah, I think sometimes having a combination can't be all bad. You know, I'm an eternal optimist. So I like to think that the big box stores are what pulls in people from maybe outside of Hoboken to shop here, and that certainly helps us as the small business owner. But I think, you know, our community is very much focused on shopping local, and, you know, we of course appreciate that, and we feel that every day. They'll make it a point to go out of their way to shop here and give a gift from here because it feels special and it feels Hoboken.
Megan, thank you so much for having us in your store today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure having you. Thanks for visiting.
I could just live in here. That amazing archway and tables full of unique gifts, it makes my creative heart so happy. This is the way I remembered Hoboken when I lived here in my 20s, except with a few more little ones and a whole lot more social media. Oh, Hoboken, you are one fun city. Bookstores and specialty shops, bands and bars, museums and cupcakes. Hoboken has a little something for everyone, and it's almost in its own renaissance of sorts. The vibe of this town is found in its mix of history, coupled with some small businesses who are reshaping the way we see and play in Hoboken. It's my hope that Hoboken can hold on to that balance that makes it so special. You can find HomeGrown on TAPintoTV or on Instagram at HomeGrownNJ. We'd love to hear about your small town and what makes it great. For HomeGrown, I'm Stephanie Willoughby. We'll see you next time.
To watch more Tap Into TV, follow us on social media at TAPintoTV.
Today we're visiting my favorite shore point, Asbury Park, New Jersey. If you haven't been here, you must come here. Asbury is famous for their boardwalk, their nightlife, and their proud LGBTQ community. As the saying goes, everything is better in Asbury. It's very hard for me to describe purple glazed donuts. You simply have to taste them. I don't know how to make a donut, but whatever it is that they do should be the standard for all donuts everywhere in the world. The end.
Hi, I'm Jackie Sharp. I own Purple Glazed Donuts on 516 Summerfield Ave in Asbury Park. We've been here for 4 years.
I really deeply love your donuts.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And when I knew we were going to do Asbury, you guys were the first call that I wanted to make because I want it to be here so badly, and I want everyone to know how amazing and great your donuts are. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started? Because
Sure.
It's not the most conventional job, maybe, to own a donut place. So what drew you to it?
I retired and moved down here with my husband, and I had always wanted to go to pastry school in my 20s, and I never actually got there, so I took the time and I went to pastry school at Brookdale Community College. They had a program which was like 2 blocks from my house. Did a year of pastry school, and then in parallel life, my son Wesley was up on the boardwalk at Langosta Lounge. He was baking, and he kept saying, let's open a donut shop. Donuts are going to be the new cupcake. It's the new thing. And I said, look, let me go to work at Wegmans for a year in the bakery. So I did Wegmans for a year, and just about the end of the year, friends of ours who own Langosta told us about the space that was available, and it was small enough. My husband, he's the business sense. He figured out the money, and he said, okay, this is how much we could afford to lose if we never sell a donut. And literally,
It's important to know.
literally, that's how we got started. So.
That's so cool.
Here we are.
But you didn't sell no donuts. You sold all the donuts. You guys have won lots of just like high accolades, like from really big stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we took a lot of time to try to figure out, we wanted a donut didn't have that greasy mouthfeel, so we took a lot of time fiddling around with the donut mix to make sure that they were like light and fluffy on the inside and crispy on the outside. And the other thing in our business model is we wanted to be a neighborhood shop. I mean, as you can see, we're a little bit off the beaten track. And 4 years ago, we were even more off the beaten path in Asbury Park, because you know Asbury's come really far in the last 4 years. We're involved in a lot of things in the community, so we have a lot of local people who come in, you know, on those sleepy days in the winter when not a hell lot of people are buying donuts. They're coming in, buying coffee, sitting down and chatting. We've slowly, you know, gotten the word out, and, you know, kind of slow and steady wins the race, but we have a really good product.
I love that you're so involved in the community, that there is this local aspect to it, because it seems like with Asbury, the businesses that we've spoken to, everyone sort of seems to have each other's back, right? Like
We do.
Yeah, and it feels like business that gets brought in here, you know, eventually they find themselves at Cure, or they find themselves at Showtime
Exactly.
Theater. So it's kind of neat the way that you guys have all been able to kind of keep it small, even though it's growing quite a bit.
Absolutely, yeah, we have each other's backs, and it works out well.
What is it like working with your son?
Like my son always says, we've been together, you know, 4 years, none of us have killed each other yet. In the beginning, I gotta tell you, in the beginning, he used to take the brunt of everything, because I had, you know, these people working for me, and if somebody made a mistake, I kind of was always on him, because I didn't want to be the mean boss. But now I've learned a little bit better how to manage and things like that, and it's okay, it's good.
So I want to talk a little bit about the donuts. You guys this isn't just like people coming in, coffee and donuts, although it is that, probably primarily that, but you also cater weddings, is that right?
Yes, we do a lot of weddings, showers, birthdays, and any kind of event.
What's it like living in Asbury and working in Asbury?
For me, it's the perfect combination of a city and a small town. So many of us, business owners, people in the city, we know each other, we see each other socially, but you have the cool aspects of being in the city too. You have art and culture, music, so we have a little bit of everything.
What is your best-selling donut?
Okay.
And if you can kind of give us a little bit of how these donuts get made.
Sure. I would have to say our best-selling donut, and it's a donut that we've had on the menu since we first opened. It's called French toast. It's rolled in cinnamon and sugar, and then it has a little maple icing on it, and it has a dollop of sweet cream cheese. You have people who, you know, are more traditionalists. They like just plain cinnamon and sugar, powdered Boston cream. And then you like the people who do the crazier donuts with, you know, we call them over the top. You know, they have M&Ms and cookie dough and icing and all those kinds of things.
I would say purple glaze is one of those like must-dos when you're in Asbury. And I so appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with us.
Oh, thanks for coming.
But now we get to taste donuts. So
Absolutely.
That's the best part. I'm all here for a mother and son team who add to the overall happiness of the locals and visitors of Asbury Park. I'm also fully here for these donuts. Seriously, my kids and I have been known to drive to Asbury just for these donuts. I'm not kidding. Every Jersey girl has her favorite shore point, and I am lucky enough to call Asbury Park mine. Beautiful and colorful and artistic and musical. You can't beat the arts, the food, and the people of Asbury Park.
To see all of our latest videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel at TAPintoTV.
Next up, TAPintoTV dropped into the Garden State Film Festival, where we spoke with actors, directors, and the festival organizers about this annual event celebrating independent film and New Jersey's key role in filmmaking history.
It's important that we're here tonight at the festival because what we're doing is we're continuing to cultivate a film and TV industry in New Jersey. New Jersey's new film tax incentive program is actually booming right now. We have more TV and feature films that are coming into the state, planning on coming into the state, than you could possibly imagine. And it's so much more than we've had, I would say, in the last 12 years. where we envision this tax incentive helping us is starting to spur studio development, starting to have studios pop up where you are going to go into the studio, soup to nuts, start to finish, make the entire production, and then leave. So the great thing about the film and tax incentive and what it does, the trickle-down effect, is that everyone benefits from it. So we know actors, directors, producers, and stuff like that, but we don't realize that the local dry cleaner, the local store, the local caterer, the local supermarket, they are benefiting from it because part of our tax incentive is you have to patronize New Jersey businesses and services. So the great thing about being back in Asbury Park, it's our second year, the great thing about it is that we're back in our hometown. We're back where we began, we're back where we started, and there's an amazing energy and vibe in Asbury Park, and we're capturing it.
This is where it was all born. Thomas Edison invented the film industry right here in the state of New Jersey, and that's why this festival was born. I was amazed that there wasn't an all-encompassing event in the place that deserved to celebrate their legacy.
So we have a brand new website, we have a brand new app that we created, and we love the warm welcomes that we receive when we're here in Asbury Park. This is why we do it. You know, a global film festival here in New Jersey on the East Coast, and this year we have over 245 films from over 20 countries. We have over 60 events. We're now 5 days instead of 4.
This is marvelous is the only word. This is so exciting and so energized and so fabulous. To welcome all these wonderful filmmakers from around the world is just amazing.
Independent film is really the new wave, you might say, of films. It's not the Hollywood films or the studios. The studios, of course, will always be there, but with technology now, more people can bring their vision to screen, and these are the festivals that they can really get noticed at.
I wrote, directed, and produced a feature film called Burning Kentucky. Well, I'm an indie filmmaker, so I'm from Kentucky, and I was acting for years in LA, and I just didn't want to wait for people to give me a job, so I made my own job. So I raised the money, and I wrote the project, and then I got it done.
I will never forgive anything that happened that night.
I would say directing's all about having relationships with every single person that's there, and making them your family and making sure that everyone's happy, everyone feels the creative mojo on set.
It's pretty fantastic, actually. I got an offer from these guys to join them in their party, and I read the script and wanted to talk to Bethany. And then while she's telling me this story, I'm like, okay, so I'm in, because I'm not going to be the ghoul who wrecks this party. And that's how I got on board.
John Piper Ferguson, we knew was probably too good for us. And when he arrived on set, you could see, I had a young crew, and when John Piper got on the set, we were all like, okay, get it together, he's here.
As we grew and kept connecting over the project, I felt comfortable with her enough to express my ideas and any way I could, and lend some help and support. And so once we brought it back to Los Angeles, where we both were living, I just signed on, and I was like, I want to edit this thing, I want to bring it to life, and I want to help you see your vision through. It's a really humble project that came from really beautiful beginnings, and she brought all these amazing people together that share so much now after the project. It changed every single person's life involved with it. And I think that's a huge testament not only to Bethany, not only to the story, but also, of course, filmmaking in general. And it was a privilege to be a part of.
What did you do?
I grew up in New Jersey, so this is a little bit of home, but I've actually never been inside this building. We used to sneak around the boards when I was a kid, but I was like, oh my God, I get to go inside. It's beautiful.
I mean, this venue, hearing the historic bands and groups that have come in through here, this is an amazing experience. And so I'm very excited to be here again. And Ashley's here tonight, my lead actress for the film, so I couldn't be happier. It's really about a female street racer who uses her brother's rep to get a shot at the champ.
I'm calling Rudy out for the race.
You lose that race, you lose that car.
She's racing a 70 Boss Mustang with 790 horsepower.
You never have to see me again.
And then she's racing against a 71 Vega. It's racing on the streets.
I paid 15.
It's her time, and she wants that time, and she's going to force the situation to see how she stacks up against the best in her street.
This is the most fun I've ever had on a set in my life. I mean, I play a race car driver, so I do a lot of my own stunts, which is fantastic, yes. And then I got into my Prius and drove home. It was awesome, it was incredible. I tried to learn stick for a while. The car is like not quite a full automatic, so that it has some, I had to learn how to drive her specifically. And they trusted me with it very quickly.
The car owner, we wanted her to race. I wanted her to take off just for the start to get some motion in the car. And he came up and he was like, Ashley, that's gonna look like you hammer it, she get a little squirrely, come off the gas, she'll fly right in. You did what, 110, I think that time? She went down the strip on the drag strip with the
Greatest moment of my life.
It was awesome. And with the drag strip, and then halfway through, she just looks at the camera and gets shocked, and then gets back into the character and hammers it for 110. Yeah, it was great. You know, when I got invited to this festival, I was very excited because this film, American Muscle, is it's a very mainstream narrative film about cars, of course, and about underdogs who take that chance. And it screams New Jersey. It's doing it because you don't know what else you want to do and you want to prove yourself. And I just believe when I hear about New Jersey and talk to Ashley about New Jersey, and now being in New Jersey, it just feels home for this movie.
Frank, what brought you together? That's a good question. That's a very good question because I live in New York City, and he moved from D.C. He was in politics at the time. So he moved here, and we met in a bar, obviously. He kept asking me about reading his script called Awesome Gal. But when he came up and we started talking what he did, I said, now that's interesting. So I was more fascinated about him being a campaign writer and a writer, speech writer. So that's how we actually became friends and stuff like that when he moved to New York.
So you know that story where someone just shows up on the doorstep and that's my name.
It doesn't buy you a beer?
I didn't have money for a beer.
That's what producers are for,
Yeah,
right? That's what producers are for.
Exactly what they're for.
He kept asking me about reading his script called Awesome Gal, which is a wonderful story. And then I finally said, okay, let me read it. And then I actually fell in love with it.
Come on over here. Come on, let's get this done.
My horse, Awesome Gal, was abused with the abuse called soaring, where they wrap acid on the ankles to make them walk a certain way to win horse shows. And she actually escaped that abuse twice before coming to us. She came across a girl, and they have this healing journey. The story's really about their healing journey.
We shot in the Appalachians in West Virginia. Yeah. It takes place in a rural area where we had horses, farm animals, wranglers, and we actually had two sister horses that were twins. So one was aggressive, one was passive. So when the actor had to deal with a horse, we gave her the passive horse. And then when the stunt rider had to ride a horse, we gave her the aggressive horse. So that was more or less it was more the elements of the whole project.
I love my horse. I think horses have a unique connection with humans, which is also why I wanted to do this. And I have that with my horse, but in the film, I'm not a nice guy.
Going to your place today.
You leave us alone.
You know you ain't leaving these kids.
Run, sissy, run!
Get back here! Boy, you've done it now.
One of the beautiful things about it, when he told me about the horse, I went out for location scouting, I met the horse. You know, you do location scouting, you do all kinds of stuff. But the beautiful thing about it is, when Cameron was with another horse, his horse, Awesome Gal, will shy away and get jealous.
Yeah.
Come up to it, go ahead.
No. So I am apparently only allowed to hang out with male horses now. She literally, I'm not lying, she will chase the female horses away from me. So if you see a picture of me and another horse, it's always a male, because she will come down from the hill and run down and chase the females away from me. Yeah.
To learn more about Tap Into TV, visit tapintotv.net.
In this week's Small Business Spotlight, we visit Fourchette, a unique store in Clinton, New Jersey that offers home decor, gourmet foods, imported textiles, and a full-service cheese shop. Senior producer Kayla Steinmetz learns the secrets behind Fourchette's small business success.
What inspired you and Meredith to open up a cheese shop?
So we travel a lot. That's why our inspiration comes. I'm always looking for nice little things. And we see the people respond. They like the little things and the good things. So we start to grow little by little. And now we opened the second shop.
Now, what has it been like owning a small business?
That's my business growing little by little because I believe in my wife and myself. So we work very hard, and we have Michelle. She's a very good designer, so she designed all the stuff. So that's why we're successful.
What would you say your biggest challenge is helping to manage a small business?
With a small business, you almost do everything. My job entails overseeing the day-to-day operations, designing and placing everything in the store, pricing. I do a lot of the social media for the store, work with the customers, create cheese plates, create wedding registries, kind of, everything, including, unpacking 8 boxes that came today. You do everything.
You mentioned before you also do the social media here at Fourchette. What does that entail, and how'd you get that started?
We try and put out pictures or, something from Fourchette a couple times a week, something to get customers to act upon it. And my children taught me Instagram, so we have an Instagram profile now, and I think doing it pretty actively for about the last 6 weeks. We have increased our followers, I know, by at least 150 people.
Wow.
So I know they see something on Instagram, they walk in the door and say, I saw this, where can I get it? So I know it's working.
It's a passion. You have to be passionate with your customers, and you have to love your customers, and that's the response. So the people, they love you, and that's you make your business. It's I don't want to say easy. It's a lot of work, but you have to make it easy.
How do you think being in Clinton has helped your success?
Clinton, it's a little town and they're nice people. I think they travel. They have a very good ideas for the good things. That's why they like to respond that they come here in my store.
If someone comes into Clinton, wants to open up a small business, what advice would you give them?
Number one, you have to be super passionate about what you're doing. Because if you don't really believe in that business, you have to put your heart and soul into it, which translates, especially in the beginning, to innumerable hours to get that business up and running. To me, Brahim is just the best small business owner because he is engaging every day with the customers. And people know him by name. They come to see him. Little kids come to, draw a picture and leave a note for him because he's so passionate about the store and, what our mission is. So, my advice would be, you have to have the passion and the work ethic to really get the job done.
To watch more Tap Into TV, follow us on social media at TAPintoTV. To see all of our latest videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel at TAPintoTV.
Stay tuned to Tap Into TV on News 12 Plus for more original programming throughout the year.